Dear family, it's your cousin P, man. So black and so beautiful, so brown and so beautiful, so beautiful, man. Look here, man. I pray all is well out there, man. It was a nice day yesterday because them Niners won, man. It was a scary win, though, man. I got to admit, man. I cussed Purdy out all night long. And that number 20 Thomas, good Lord, he better step his game up. I'm gonna make that phone call to get him up out of there, man, fast. And I don't know who number 33 was, but he was playing like he was intimidated, man. And number 20 was scared to tackle him. Just, man, they was a liability yesterday. They was not an asset. They was a liability yesterday. But nevertheless, man, the game was a great game. I enjoyed myself with the family members at the Niner Stadium. I will be there Sunday at that game. Same place, just different time. For those who want to go to the game, man, tap in, man. We could link up and we could ride out, man. If you're a Niner fan, man. Yeah, I'm gonna be in that clubhouse though. So hopefully, the tickets is going on sale, so you better grab them right now because they're gonna go up. They're gonna go up. Let's get into this podcast, dear family, while I got time. So found out that the Lions is playing the 49ers. That's going to be a good one. Okay. Women, I want to talk about, this is going to be a part one. Part two is going to be about men, but part one is for the women and what men understand and what you need to understand. Women are more loyal to their emotion rather than their logic. I'm going to say that again, dear family. Women are more involved, more loyal to their emotional state of mind rather than the logic state of mind. The emotional state of mind represents feelings. It represents an emotional attribute that deals with a feel-good mechanism. The woman likes to feel good. She likes to be strike that. I'll get back to that in just shortly. Logic represents actual facts. What God has given you to see before it happens, or have put you in a position or a situation that you've been in to give you the wisdom and knowledge and understanding, and you still deviate from that wisdom to go off of a hope, a wish, and a prayer. So emotion overrides your logic. I've always said that a woman's first investment in a man is emotion. And a man's first investment in a woman is observation. Man watches woman. When I say he watches you, he's watching your conduct, your character, your patience, your growth, your strength, your weaknesses, your habits, your wants, your likes, your characteristics, how you handle situation, because what comes out of your mouth is so explains everything about who you are. How you handle adversity explains everything who you are to the man. See, as men, we will entertain you without a shadow of a doubt. The nature of man is to entertain. And the nature of woman is to cultivate. far too many times, 85% of the time, women allow the emotional state of mind to conduct, how can I say, an understanding for them. It's sort of like when you're screaming, the people say, calm down. Calm down, that you may get logical thinking. Because the irrational thinking will lead you astray, and you will make mistakes, and you will say things and do things when you hyperventilating or hysterical and talking out of emotion. Well, that's the same thing that women typically do. All their movement, all their energy, if you're unable to govern it, it will lead you astray. Women's emotion make up things in their mind that they want it to be, and disregard what something really is. I'm going to say that again, dear family. Women emotions make up in their mind what they want it to be, not what it really is. They deviate off of understanding. They move off impulse because it feel good. It tastes good. He said this to me. He did that to me. Everything is in an emotional feel good zone, and you stay there. But at some point, when you find out that you allowed your emotion to be the judgment of such a thing, it's too late, because you have invested so much in whatever you have invested in from an emotional state of mind opposed to a logic. Logic is what makes sense. You're going to move a certain way with logic. You're going to move a certain way with understanding. You're going to conduct yourself a little bit more on a security-minded basis if you move logically. Listen to me, dear family. So, when you do get caught up in these emotional state of minds and these emotional beings, you are totally blinded by what you're dealing with. You have caught amnesia and forgot to identify with what you were dealing with, and you find out that the man that you chose ain't nothing but a boy. But the emotional state of mind had blinded you to not see that the man, this individual, or whatever situation you was in, wasn't in your best interest. He played a lot. He stayed on the video games all day. He wasn't productive. You paying all the bills. He driving your car. You know how you do it. You cooking the dinners. You buying the dinners and cooking the dinners. You washing the dishes and taking out the garbage. Your emotional state of mind has blinded you from the logical thinking and understanding. And so, after you have seen with your own eyes what somebody is worth and what somebody is doing, you try to then charge them with being negligent to you. You try to charge them with being who they are. They have shown you who they are, yet you deviate from what your eyes see, assuming and hoping that things is going to get better. I want to say to the sisters, it's very important to deal with things for what they are and not what you want them to be. It's very important to deal with things for what they are and not what you want them to be. Don't let your emotional state of mind make your decisions for you. It judges, your judgment is off, because the emotion, listen to the word, emotion. E in the word motion. Motion is movement. You're moving. But motion without guidance, motion without navigating it properly, you subject to crash. I'm driving in this car and it has motion, but my logic intelligence is steering this wheel and putting gas, putting my foot on the pedal to navigate this motion that I may have a smooth ride. See, what you women tend to do is take out, you guys so overwhelmed with the emotion, you think your emotion is going to navigate without the intelligence. You're wrong. You're going to crash. Because this car is moving with motion. And if I decide to take my hand off the steering wheel and take my feet off the accelerator, two things gonna happen. I'm gonna crash, or I'm gonna veer off. I'm gonna crash, or the car is gonna slow down, because I'm not using logic on how to drive this car. Well, you have to use logic in friendships, relationships, whether it's your sister, your brother, your cousin, your mama, your auntie, your bestie. You have to do it all. I'm not saying that it's not okay to be emotionally, use your emotion, because we all are emotional creatures. But what I am saying is that you have to manage your emotion properly, so that you will be slow to anger. Because far too many times I see that women charge other people with their with their issues. Here it is. You have agreed upon something, and you get mentally attached to something, and you expect that something to be what you want it to be, opposed to what he or she told you it is. See, the emotion make you deviate, so you get angry and you get upset. I also said that emotion, without it being governed properly, turns wrong into right. What do you mean, Cousin P? What do committed look like? What do it look like to you? What is a commitment? I don't want you to look at the word as, a relationship. Just look at the word, I'm committed, or commitment. I'm committed. I'm going to start off with, I'm committed to driving this car effectively, safe, using distance and sight and vision, that I may get to point B from A safely. I'm committed to that. I'm focused. If I see something in my way that may cause a problem, I know what comes with this car, so I may have to, you know, make my adjustments while I'm riding this road. So I'm committed to all the possibilities or all the things that can happen while driving this car. See, you women just go face diving in. You ain't committed to governing your heart, governing your emotion, governing your understanding, and respecting understanding. You don't want to guide anything. You just want things to be what you want them to be. It doesn't work like that, sisters. You have to, whatever you involve yourself in, first and foremost, you have to be intelligent enough to find out the ins and the outs of something. You have to find out the pros and cons of something. You have to look at it and see where it could be effective for you in your journey. You have to test things out that it may be strong for you in your journey. Everything in life is a challenge and a test. See, some of you just jump in cars, jump in relationships, jump in all type of situationships, and don't drive your car effectively. And you lose your intelligence along the way. So you crash. Let me tell you something about your cousin P. Everything that I do, dear family, man, listen, my father, man, I salute that man. I got stuff in my eye. I salute that man because he made me a critical thinker at the age of 15 years old. Probably when I was younger than that, I knew the difference between a need and a want very young. I knew to treat people how I want to be treated. All that wisdom and knowledge and understanding that my father gave me at a young age, I didn't use it until I was after 26 years old, though. So it was a learning process. So I don't knock nobody for what mistakes they made or judgments they have made. We all have to grow. Some areas where my strength is, maybe areas where your weakness is. I don't know. But when I became 36 years old, I started to apply principle. I started to apply morals, values, integrity in my character. I started to study my teachings stronger and wiser. And every decision that I make, I look at the pro of it and the con of it. I dealt with it for what it was, not what I wanted it to be, unless it grew into something. Well, I was very wise at a young age, man. I was very wise at a young age, man. I'm telling you, man. Nevertheless, I always told myself, people always said, man, you too hard. My mother even said that to this day. You too hard. She might be right. Because she said I don't deal with emotion. I think that I do, though. I just think that I deal with it logically, on a logical level. What I do understand is what I have to work on is patience. But back to the sisters. This is part one. Understanding that decisions could be the life of you or the death of you. And I don't mean a physical death, but some of them can be. But the life of you represents happiness, and the death of you represents a sadness based on your decision making out of emotion. Sometimes you guys force situations that should never be forced. Sometimes you think that you could change your situation that circumstances won't allow you to change. Sometimes you want something so bad, you invest so much, and you totally forgot about having a great conversation to see where someone stands. See, that's why it's called understanding. Anytime you move, you have to get an understanding, because it would determine what direction you're going to go in. It's going to determine how much you're going to invest in. Not that you're not going to love the person or care for the person, but you will have a clear understanding so you won't be so emotionally attached or involved in something that will hurt you or destroy you. He said you could judge a woman by what she puts in her mouth, and you could judge a woman from what comes out of her mouth. Keep that for another podcast. That was deep right there. Nevertheless, and I close. Understanding emotion is a great attribute to have, because some of us love animals and some of us don't. Some of us love flowers, some of us love bees, some of us we have an emotional attachment to God's nature. We have an emotional attachment to everything, and that's the blessing that God had gave us. But if it's just so much you gonna do for an animal. It's so much you gonna do for your own child if your child is disrespectful. The emotion has a time limit. The emotion has a balance to it. The emotion has to be governed in a way where both parties understand what something is going to be and what it's not going to be. So, I say that to say this. Manage that energy. Don't manage it. We can't get rid of it. We just have to manage everything properly that we do. We have to manage what we eat. We have to manage what comes out of our mouths. You have to be that way in every situation. So manage the emotion. And don't let the emotion manage you. I'm going to get off the subject for a bit, but it's still talking about the word emotion. Women are so loyal to emotion rather than logic. When I said a man and a woman is judged by what it's put in their mouth and what comes out of their mouth. Out of emotion, you say you love you. I love me some me. Well, the scripture reveals the scripture reveals judge the tree by the fruit it bears. Let's see if you really love you. What do you eat? Don't you know that all diseases start in the stomach? So what do you eat? Yet you say you love you. What have you found out that was not any good for you, yet you still eat it. Talk to me. See, when you get sick off of what you eat, you go to the doctor and they begin to tell you got high blood pressure, you got cysts on your ovaries, or you got some type of illness going on. All of it stems from eating, an emotional attachment to something that you consuming, that you like so much, but it's deteriorating you from the inside out. See, if you don't manage your appetite of emotion for certain foods, you will kill yourself. So if you don't manage your appetite, or if you don't manage your emotional love for someone else, you will kill yourself. Because your emotion always say to you, pardon me, your emotion always blinds you to believing you can make things what you want to make them, opposed to what they really are. See, you deviate from the logical state of mind, getting caught up in the emotion without it being governed by what you looking at, that you may understand it. And you won't put yourself in these damn traps with relationships, with food, with people in general. See, managing emotion is this. It's a science to it. Because men lust after women. Women lust after men. But when you attach or start to manage your emotion, things that when you look at a situation, right? I'm trying to go somewhere with this. God is taking me somewhere with this. When you, how can I put it? You in a situation and your love supersedes your logic at this point because you're in a situation. Damn, I forgot where I was going to go. It was so beautiful. They come back to me. Well, let me stay back home. The understanding. I'll come back to that. Don't worry about it. The mind going to go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I guess God don't want me to talk about that right now. I can't give it to you, I assume. Maybe part 2. But nevertheless, managing your emotion is very, very, very vital in this time. And don't get disturbed by situations that you think should be for you. You think they should be for you, and they are not. They are not. Ooh, I shouldn't say that either. Good Lord, I don't know where I'm going through. I think I'm getting too powerful for y'all. Ooh, I ain't gonna say that either. Because somebody gonna think I'm talking about them, and I ain't talking about nobody. I'm breaking down the emotional intelligence that we all should have. And I think that women use more emotion than logic. But I close with this. Don't destroy your relationships. When you know you have a great relationship, don't destroy your relationship over an emotional state of mind, because that's a confused mind. You can't even think logic with an emotional state of mind. I mean, emotional state of minds are the ones that's yelling, and the ones that move fast, the ones that regret what they said or what they done. Because yeah, regret what they said or what they done. Start to move a little bit more wiser. Don't destroy your relationships from an emotional state of mind. Because if you lose an individual that you know is a good person, but was unable to meet your expectation because of what you wanted in that department, then you will know that you made a major mistake. And then you will come calling, you thinking. See, this is what it is too, dear family. People be so hard up on emotion where their ego outweighs the logic. I ain't doing this. I ain't calling this person. I ain't talking to this person. I'm hard. Man, that shit, man. That's 17-year-old wisdom. We was doing that when we were 17. If I feel a certain way, I'm going to say what I got to say, whether I cuss an individual out or not. The reason why men get over women faster is because women naturally conceal their love sometimes and their pain. And they had to wallow in that, right? While men get out what they get out or say what they say and move on. I don't harvest no bad feelings with no individual, man. I say what I say and I let it go. It ain't gonna stop me from doing what I want to do. But some people will just wallow in they vomit and be stressed out and thinking what he doing, what she doing. I don't care about none of that. Man, I don't care about none of that. That's what make my spirit so free. Because people really be assuming that they doing certain things. And I'm telling you how to work this, sisters. Get out how you feel. Say what you got to say and leave it alone. That way it ain't bothering you and not allowing you to move forward. I treat people how I want to be treated. I treat people exactly the way they treat me. No more, no less. And I talk a gang of shit because the people talking. I shoot the shit with them. I do it all. But the man deals more with logic than the emotion. So the minute you start to vibrate on a different energy, the man has already made 4 or 5 moves before you even started your process, because we hear it in the language. Once we hear it in the language, we start making a transition in our mind and in our actions. And then we will still entertain you like you think you the shit and you really ain't. Hey, this podcast is titled "Women Deal More Emotionally with Their Emotions Than Logic." So you better get to learn a man and how strategic that man is and how calculated he is. Because when you assume that you hurting an individual, a man feelings that, well, a man. Notice I'm saying man, I ain't talking about a boy. The minute the man sees that you are deviating with a different energy in conversation, he done made 4 or 5 moves on his logic. On his logic. He don't deal with the emotion part. I'm telling y'all how this man works. He started making his transitions in his head already, and you will never be the same to that man unless you submit in a conversation that explains to that man your love for him or your appreciation for him. That way we able to see things a little bit more deeper. But man, I'm telling you. Don't get to playing with no man. Acting like you ain't tripping. You don't care. Do this, do that. Because we understand that you could go out and go get a lot of other men if you want them. And you understand that men could go out and get a lot of different women if they want it. Which one is worse? You getting ran or the man doing the running? Which one is worse? So be wise, and I was my point. I want you to rewind this whole podcast because I started a little bit more powerful and strong. I'm just babbling right now, but understand, man, stop moving with your emotions, man. You don't get nowhere with that. Emotions without intelligence, motion without it being managed is destruction, man. You know what I'm saying? A woman, again, this is part one for the woman. A woman is judged by what she put in her mouth and what comes out of her mouth. It dictate everything about her. Whether a man could work with that or whether a man could use it for what it's useful for. So be wise in our sister. And you getting everything from a man's perspective. So you could say what the hell you want to say. You getting it from a man's perspective. How many times you been cheated on? I just pulled up to my mother house. How many times have you been cheated on? How many times have you been caught your man in a lie? How many girls have you called out of your man's phone? Well, I advise you to listen to what a man has to say because I'm giving you game. My responsibility is to civilize the uncivilized. But I'm only talking from experience, nevertheless. So this is part one. Man, y'all take this and y'all ride with it, man. But I'm going to be back at that Niner game Sunday at 6 p.m. sharp, back in the clubhouse. And it's going down. Hey, I bought my ticket this morning. And I'm back up in that thing, man. Nevertheless, man, there's some good things that's coming up, man. I want y'all to check out dropping February 25th and 26th is the SBS documentary trailers. Y'all can check those out. They're going to be dope. Man, shout out to Fab. Fab doing this thing. It's Fab weekend, man. The boy, the 3 Times Crazy, coming out here to perform. They're going to be at the Planks, I believe it's called. They're going to be at, for bowling. They're going to be at Henry J. Kaiser for the roller skate. And I'm going to be in the house doing my thing. SBSB going to be there, baby. I'm going to rock with the family member, man. Nevertheless, this album, I promise you, man, this is one of my best albums that I've done. It's called The Final Call. It's the last album. And this one going to be pushed a little bit more stronger. I got a lot more features on there that I did on this Fall of America, but it's more of a grown album too, man. I got Sky on there. I got Keisha Cole on there. I have who else on this new album, man? There's so many good people on this damn album. I done did like about 30 songs for this album, but I'm telling you, it's gonna be nice. I'm bringing the Berkeley Boys out. I know y'all heard that song too. That's on my social media platform. Go check it out. We doing a big video to that. Bring out them Berkeley Boys, man. I got to do that for the town. I got to do that. Nevertheless, man, y'all stay up, man. It's your cousin Pete. I'm finna help my mother for a minute, and then I'm gonna head on to where I got to be. You know what I'm saying? Peace.